Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about signs of narcissistic parent. Yes, in the past I have talked a lot about narcissists and their signs and behavior and other traits. So today I'm going to talk about signs of a narcissistic parent, and before I get going with the video, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel and hit the notification bell so that you are always updated if we put out new content. Yeah, so now let's get into it. So what are the signs of a narcissistic parent? So in the past also I have discussed that narcissists are I, me, myself, I'm the best, I don't have any flaw, I don't need to change, I'm the most superior one, I'm entitled for the best, and that's it. That's how, briefly to understand what narcissists are. And these narcissists have the other side also. These narcissists are not very stable in their head. They have a lot of insecurities, and in order to overcome those insecurities, they don't work on the core. They try and build a wall around it. They try and build a fake facade, yeah, false self image they build up. And that is a kind of their coping mechanism. Yeah, not rectifying and working it out, but building up a false image and living by it. And in that false image they are perfect, they are the best, and that is the reason they are entitled. There is only scope of change when you have problem. Yeah, when they had problem, they did not rectify it. Yeah, instead what they decided to build up a false facade and live by it. Yeah, these narcissists. So that false image, that false sense of self is perfect, that is without any error or without any problem or defect. So these parents already have a lot of this superiority complex, and you might hear them saying that what have they done, about the other parents, and what have they done, look what we have done for you. I wonder if they can afford it, I wonder if they can sacrifice this much. There's always this comparison, and they are the superior one. I mean, the conclusion will be that they are the best, the other parent or whatever, whoever is out there, they are not capable enough, they are not sufficient, and they are not as great and as noble as how these narcissistic parents are. So they are into constant comparison, and they will be making it a point and making it very clear that I'm the best, I'm the superior, I'm the bestest parent, I have done enough for you, I have sacrificed more than any other parent, I'm the bestest of all. Yeah, so they have this superiority thing. The next thing is that these narcissistic parents are really obsessed. They are really obsessed with validation and appreciation. So if they do something for you, and if you take it for granted, and if you don't tell them thank you, and oh, thank you so much, my life has changed, oh, you're the greatest dad and greatest mom, if you don't say that, they'll remind you, hello, my dad was unable to do this for me, but see, I went ahead and I did it for you. It's only because of me that you are who you are. It's only because of my sacrifices. So they keep on reminding, that you just can't forget what they have done for you, and you need to appreciate that, you need to validate that, and you need to be ready with the payback. Now, different category of narcissistic parents have different expectations, and the first and foremost expectation, of course, is to establish control, and you have to do their bidding. Whatever they want you to do, you just have to do, and you can't question ifs and buts and all of that. You just have to say yes and go ahead with whatever they want out of you. So yes, these narcissistic parents have this extreme craving for validation and appreciation. So they'll make sure that they make you feel in such a way that you are like, oh, thank you so much, dad, thank you so much, mom, thank you so much, I'm so blessed to have a mother like you, I'm so blessed to have a father like you. So it's not healthy. I mean, if my dad is a healthy person emotionally and mentally, and if he does something for me, it's quite obvious that I'll say, hey, thanks dad, thank you so much. If my partner does something for me, I'm going to say, hey, thank you so much. If he has to come and remind me, hey, you know what I went through and how I did it for you, how it's on the table, do you know what problem I went through in getting that food on your table, that means you are reminding me to, get that validation and appreciation. Paybacks are separate, but the first thing that you're looking out for is validation and appreciation. And if I don't thank you, then you go on reminding me, oh look, they don't have anything, but see how lucky you are, at least I have done it, I went whatnot, and I went through a lot of things just to make that thing available for you. So they go on bragging, they go on reminding you, and they go on seeking that appreciation and validation, uh, only if you don't give back what they want. The moment you say, oh, you are one of the bestest father, oh, you are one of the bestest mother on this planet, I'm indebted to you for the entire life, and then they'll be happy and they'll stop, they won't keep on reminding you. So that is also one of the ways that you can manage that. Immediately just tell them, yeah, oh, you are an amazing father, thank you so much, I'm indebted to you. So this makes them feel again great, superior, and this fills in that need for appreciation and validation. The next sign of a narcissistic parent is perfectionism. They're really obsessed with perfection. Anything with errors or anything that is not perfect is wrong. It's filled with error. It's not normal. So they are really obsessed with perfection. They want you to score good grades, they want you to look good, they want you to behave like a perfect child. I mean, as per them, there is no specific do's and don'ts for a child, and there is no rule book that has come from the sky that a child has to behave in a certain way. But according to these narcissistic parents, they are they have a lot of these qualities of predator and abuser, and they are big time into abusing and exploiting. So these narcissistic parents are really obsessed with perfectionism. They are obsessed themselves, and they want perfectionism out of you also. So they want a work to be done in a certain way and perfectly by you. So they the issues and challenges that they faced in not reaching that perfection, or if they have failed to reach that perfection, that that entire subject is going to be passed on to you. Now you have to do it perfect. Yeah, though they wouldn't have had been able to be the perfect son, but they would want you to be the perfect son. Though they wouldn't have had been able to do things perfectly, I mean anything, but they want you to do it perfectly. So this inability, this insecurity of not being absolutely perfect, and not being able to execute work perfectly and doing it with absolute perfection, then that passes on to you, that will be passed on to the child. Now you have to do it perfectly. Their expectations are going to go high, because they see you as an extension of themselves. These narcissistic parents don't see their children as an individual with their individuality and individual self. They see their children as an extension, of their ego, as an extension of themselves to do what they want. That's it. These children's, according to narcissists, don't deserve their own autonomy. They are there to serve these narcissistic parents. That's it. There is no personal life for the children. So yes, these the battle, the war, that goes, the conflict that goes inside a narcissistic parent of not being perfect. They know their flaws, they know their insecurities and vulnerabilities, and that is the reason they have built a false image. They have built up a false castle around them to keep them safe, to keep their insecure child safe, these narcissists. And they become so obsessed with that false self that they whatever they couldn't do perfectly, they'll push it onto your head. These narcissist parents will push it onto the child's head, that, oh, now you have to do it. Oh no, this is not right, this is not perfect, you have to do it now perfectly. So that's one of the sign of a narcissistic parent. So these narcissistic parents are really obsessed with control. If they had the control, they wouldn't hesitate in controlling when you would live, when you would die, when you would breathe, when you would do whatnot. So they have this extreme control thing going on. They really want to control their kids, and this again goes back to their insecure self. They want to control it so that they don't lose their child, because their child is their only extension. And the child is who is making them feel somewhat okay, where the child is someone whom they can abuse, exploit and torture and do whatnot. So it's almost like as if these children of narcissistic parent are like toys and pets. They don't consider children as an individual. They consider their children as an extension of themselves, as a toy, that they have created, as a pet that they have created or they have. So yes, they just want to control anything and everything, and they want you to be like puppet, and that's a fact. Some people might not agree, but controlling behavior of any parent does reflect that does reflect some possibilities of that parent being narcissistic. Otherwise, in a healthy kid and a parent relationship, well, there are good things and there are wrong things, and for wrong things, yes, of course, there are some punishments. That, my child, you don't have to do this, and I'm going to punish you. You need to know your boundaries, you need to know your limits, and that is fine. But extreme control, that really constricts the growth of a child, the creativity in a child. That really stunts the creative growth. Yeah, so much of control, because the child is getting conditioned to always being told what to do and what not to do. So the child is raised as a pet, when he needs to do, when she needs to do whatnot. So when they grow up and when they get into relationship, it becomes very problematic, because these children who grow up in narcissistic homes and who are raised by narcissistic parents are very prone to attracting more narcissists and more abusers and predators in their life. So it's the chances are really high that they would be abused and exploited by their partners as well, because these children are raised with these children are never made to feel independent, and they were never given their own autonomy. So they always want that somebody controls them, somebody gives them instruction, and that is how the mess happens. They start losing their individual self, they start losing their confidence, and they always they are on the lookout for instructions. So now I think I need to be told to do this, I need to be told to do that. So these narcissistic parents really hurt the child and the psyche of a child, and the child suffers. We can't deny from the fact, to all those you out there, my heart goes out to all of you who have suffered because of narcissistic parents, because trust me, it hurts. It really makes you handicap in a lot of ways. It creates a lot of mental blocks for you. You keep on suffering because you were never prepared to be independent and an abled individual, and because of that, we suffer a lot. I have suffered a lot, and you know it goes on. So it until and unless the person, the victim or the child, doesn't choose to heal himself or herself, these series of abuse and toxic behavior and exploitation will go on in some form or the other. And that's the worst thing a person can go through, an adult can go through. So I mean, I really feel sad for all those kids. I was in that position as well until I chose to put a full stop and make these things accessible to all of you by talking about these issues. So yes, it's very painful to grow up in a family with narcissistic parent. Yeah, the next point or the next sign to look out for, whether the parent is a narcissist or not, is that these narcissistic parents really lack limits. They can go way beyond and way too far, when they punish the child, when punishment is like a an ointment for their fragile ego. These narcissist parents, they can punish and they can go to any limit. And I have seen narcissistic parents really forcing their children into child labor. I have seen, and it's horrible. I mean, we grew up in a family and we were made to do what not when we were young, when it was time for us to play and enjoy and explore other things in life. We were made to do household chores, we were forced into doing household chores, we were beaten up into doing things, and we had school things, but we had to do this also at home. And it was not right. We were forced and we were even brutalized, and I mean, there was no limit. We were forced into child labor as well when we were kids, when we were child. So yes, these narcissistic parents really don't know limits. So they, as it is, take their kids as an object that they possess, and that object or that creature has to fulfill all their needs and demands. That's it. That creature doesn't have his or her own autonomy, his or her own individuality, and his or her own preference and private time or space. That creature, I mean the children, is just a means for these narcissistic parents to fulfill their needs and desire and demands. So yes, narcissistic parents lack limits, and they can really cross their limits. They can really cross their limits in getting what they want out of you, and it's really painful. The next one is that these narcissistic parents are big time into blaming and deflection. Yes, they never take the blame. The covert narcissistic parent, if you confront them that, hey, you did this wrong, they're going to blame it back to you. They said, oh, I did so much, everybody blames me, oh, this is what is left for me to hear. Now you have also started blaming me. I have not been a good father, I had not been a good mother. Playing victim, I mean, in the cases of covert narcissists. And in the case of the others, like a grandiose narcissist, so they are not going to take it, they're going to blame it onto you. They're going to make you the scapegoat. Oh, I did this wrong, excuse me, you were unable to see what exactly I was wanting it for, and you did not understand, it's your mistake. So these are the words that you're going to hear from all these different varieties of narcissistic parent. They're not going to take the blame. They are either going to blame it onto you, they're going to blame it on the other, or they're going to make you the scapegoat, or they are just going to deflect from that entire episode. So these narcissistic parents are big time into blaming others, big time into blaming you for anything and everything, and big time into deflection. The next sign to look out for in a narcissistic parent is that they lack sympathy. They are going to say, oh, why the hell are you crying, come on, get up, don't be a weak kid. That's all. They are not going to sit and talk and know your emotional vulnerabilities, your emotional ups and downs, your pain, They won't ask that. They won't even care. They're going to say, they're going to just invalidate your, emotions. Oh, rubbish, you're just acting too much, you're just not behaving okay, you're just a weak kid. Oh, come on, you don't have to react so much. Oh, come on, now move on. So they just invalidate you, they belittle you, they invalidate you, and it's awful, it's horrible for a child. I have gone through it, so I can verify that it's a horrible experience when children's emotions are not validated, when it's just invalidated by saying, "Oh, aren't you acting too much? Aren't you crying too much? What a weakling are you? Oh, come on." Yeah, so it's horrible. So these narcissists, they really lack sympathy. The next one is that these narcissists have a very weak emotional reasoning. They already have, a lot of this emotional mess inside of them, and they don't know what emotional regulation is, what being emotional is, what emotions are, and what healthy emotional, self is like. So these are quite alien things for narcissists. They are just the way how they are, and they want others to be the way how they want them to be. Yeah. So these narcissist parents are very, they have a very weak emotional reasoning. Yeah, I mean, for example, if you are crying, if you're hurt, if somebody said something to you, and if you're crying, they are not going to ask you why you're crying immediately. They're going to say, "Oh, you're crying." I mean, if it's a boy, "Oh, you're crying." Oh, girls cry, boys don't need to cry. Done. They won't be asking why you are crying, what did hurt you, what made you feel. That's not the thing. Yeah, it's just that they see it as a sign of weakness, and they invalidate it. So they have weak emotional reasoning. And there are other ways, and there are other situations that you can see. One of them could be like, if it's a girl, if it's a girl child, and if she's hurt, and she's been hurt emotionally by the way how she's being treated, by her classmates. So a narcissistic mother or a narcissistic father would not go deeper into asking that. A narcissistic parent would just see if she's low or if she's crying. They're going to say, "Oh, come on, don't you have any other thing apart from crying? What is this? Come on, get up, go and do the work. Oh, come on, don't waste your time in crying. Oh, weak people cry." So, they just don't understand. Yeah, and to a narcissist, their kids are just like pets, animals, or maybe puppets to do what they want them to do. So, yes, weak emotional reasoning is there. The next sign is that these narcissists are very, very scared of being belittled. They are very scared of being rejected, denied, disobeyed, disrespected. They are very scared because they are already living, a false, sense of self that they have built up, and they have a lot of insecurities. So hearing no is like a tight slap on their face, on their fake self. Yeah. So they hate, they are really scared of being belittled, or they are really scared of having that reality check or confronted with reality. They hate that, and they really don't like you comparing them with any other parent. They can compare you, narcissistic parents can compare you with other kids, compare themselves with some other parent, just to show how great they are, and just to show how bad you are. But you don't have the right to compare them. The kids don't have the right to compare them. The kids don't have a right to say no. The kids don't have a right to disobey. The kids don't have a right to disrespect. So yes, these narcissists are very scared of all these things, and it shows in their behavior. If once you say no to a thing, they are going to follow this process of uh, passive aggression, directly, indirectly, and indirectly. They're going to keep on taunting you, belittling you, and making you feel miserable, so that you get that message that you don't have to disrespect, you don't have to say no, you don't have to disagree or disrespect them. So these narcissists are horrible, as parent, and I think as partner, as lover. I mean, they are not healthy individual, these narcissists. And yes, narcissist parents are really unhealthy beings, and they really destroy the child. They really destroy, and um, they do a lot of damage. They do a lot of they scar the childhood. Yeah. So yes, that is one of the points. And the last sign to look out for in a narcissistic uh, parent is that they have this nervousness. Yeah, that something bad might happen, so they are going to keep on putting a lot of this pressure, a lot of these do's and don'ts onto you, just so that one, they are you are under control, and second, that they have this invisible fear and this insecurity of something bad might happen. So in order to avoid that, they keep on reinforcing a lot of control, a lot of do's and don'ts. So yes, these narcissistic parents are very scared of something miserable that will happen, though it is not going to happen. If it has to happen, it will happen. But because of that insecure self, these narcissist parents, they have that insecurity and they have not addressed to it. They do have this nervousness. You can see in a narcissistic parent that what if this happens, what if that happens. Oh, come on, if something has to happen, it will happen. I mean, like, why do we why do we have to be scared and not live life to the fullest and not try out things? Yeah. So living in fear is not the right and the healthy way. The next sign is disgrace. Narcissists are extremely um, uh, you know uh, scared of disgrace, any kind of disgrace that the child can bring on their false, to their false image that they have created. So they are very scared of being disgraced, humiliated. And the last sign, according to me, is that these narcissists are very insensitive. They're just not sensitive enough to understand you. They're not sensitive enough to understand your emotional ups and downs. They just don't care. It's all about them, and it's all about how well you are taking care of their needs and how well you are serving them. So yes, narcissistic parents are um, not a good parent, and they really scar their children's childhood. And the children, those children who are raised by narcissistic parents have a very bad and turbulent adult life, and they have a lot of problem with their relationship, in their work, whatever they do, they have a lot of problem. And they attract a lot of narcissists. They don't know how to manage their emotions, how to regulate their emotions. And overall depression, anxiety is there in the lives of children raised by narcissistic parent. So in case if you would like to add in, you can always comment below, and make sure to like, share and subscribe the channel. And lots of love and blessings to all of you, and say no to abuse, say no to toxicity, and create awareness about all these toxic things that exist in our society, whether it is narcissism, whether it is emotional abuse or manipulation. We need to create awareness. There's so much of work that we need to do, and I can't do it alone. I can only do it with the help of you guys. So yes, please take care of yourself, and yeah, bye.